Hey guys, welcome back to Talking Walking Dead. We're here to talk about the episode 18 Miles Out, which I have to say is actually one of my favorite episodes of the show so far.
I like the stuff with Shane and Rick. I thought it was spot on. The other stuff, not so much, but we can get into that later. The stuff with Shane and Rick, though, just when you thought that they couldn't ramp up the zombie danger and the zombie attack, especially after Shane and Otis, they did with this episode. It was really intense.
Yeah, we had these characters. One thing I really liked was that right at the beginning, Rick confronted Shane with everything Laurie said. I do think we're seeing in the second half, which is sort of Glenn Mazzara taking over as showrunner, things are moving a little more quickly. People aren't sitting on facts. So Rick learns all this stuff about Shane. He comes to him right away.
Yeah, no more episodes called Secrets about secrets.
Right.
I really like the structure of the way the Rick and Shane stuff went down. I like that they had the conversation at the beginning, and then they had the same one at the end, but in between was that zombie attack, so it had a different meaning at the end, and maybe it was because Shane went through that whole ordeal that he was maybe able to accept it at the end when Rick said the same thing. This is my wife, this is my son, deal with it. But we still don't know where Shane stands. Maybe he accepts it. It's also bookended with him looking at that zombie through the window. It kind of reminded me of like Man on Fire when Denzel looks at the volcano, but like, you know, maybe he's accepted it, maybe he hasn't.
Yeah, but you know, in the middle of that, like you said, some of the best sort of zombie killing action we've had on this show so far. Really intense stuff. Shane trapped in the bus. And if you're a fan of the comic book, pretty cool to see them learn a technique from the comic book, even though it was a different place they did it, which was calling the zombies over to the fence, stabbing them right through the fence. Great for the comic fans to see, but also just kind of a cool thing to see on the TV show.
Some cool gun kills too. I'm shooting the zombie through the head of the other zombie.
Yes.
It's pretty intense. But I spent the whole episode wondering, is Shane gonna buy it? Is this his final episode? Because I didn't know. And then of course the ultimate humiliation of Shane being saved by Rick in a move which he considered to be Rick's weakness.
Right.
You know, his compassion for other people.
Right. And yeah, you know, then back on the farm, we had some stuff that I know, you know, it wasn't the best, but still pretty solid, I thought.
It was a little glaring to me that this was a big episode that didn't feature most of the players, which is fine if you're not going to, but sometimes they would mention that they're right off screen.
Yeah.
And that was a little glaring to me because it was like, oh, Herschel's inside stitching up. I kind of wanted to see Herschel's reaction to his daughter trying to kill herself.
Right.
Maggie's off walking with Glenn, yet Glenn doesn't come back with her when there's an emergency.
Right.
And does that mean they're okay now? Are they a couple again? So it was a little strange.
Yeah, I mean, I agree it was a little odd, but overall it didn't bother me that much because I thought it was a great idea to have sort of this much more sort of tight episode with a smaller cast of characters. And I have to say, we finally learned a little bit about Beth and had some good stuff with her. I thought that it was pretty cool when she had that interplay with Maggie, and Maggie says, you know, don't kill yourself. I can't stand going to another funeral. And Beth says, you're gonna have to, basically saying that there's a zombie apocalypse.
The part of it I really liked was Laurie butting heads with Andrea because she dealt with her own female Shane in that scene while Rick was dealing with the real Shane. And Laurie was kind of talking out of both sides of her mouth. They're talking out of her ass because when Carl was going to die and she thought Carl was going to die, she was right where Beth was. She was ready to quit. And so the fact that Andrea called out Laurie as being a bit spoiled because she hasn't lost anyone was kind of cool.
Yeah, you know, I thought both of them had some moments that made me roll my eyes a little bit. I wasn't quite sure why Laurie was saying Andrea should be helping with the cooking and cleaning and not the zombie killing. But it was pretty strong dynamic between them, and they did both have some interesting strong points as well. And overall, I thought, you know, one of the better on the farm plots we've seen. Overall, though, you know, very solid episode. Wondering what you thought. Let us know in the comments, and we'll be back next week.